Hey tribe, good morning. I got my morning coffee here. And no, this isn't a Sunday coffee talk unless I decide it becomes a Sunday coffee talk. But I wanted to share with you such a strong flipping story how manifesting works. Even if we want to go into Never Goddard, how law of assumption works. And what I mean by a strong story, this is a unique story because this actually happened to Aang. I'm involved with it, okay? But what makes the story so strong because I'm the protagonist in the whole situation. You understand what I mean? Like, I did not want at all. And one of the unique things that I caught what Never Goddard said, because the last few weeks, we've been going through a lot of Never Goddard's books and stuff like that. And one of the things I caught Never Goddard saying is that what you want, your desire, your attention, even if somebody else doesn't want it, what you want, it will come to you in a way, in a perfect way, that the person who didn't want it, maybe if it's a significant other, hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy, came over and say hi. But what I'm saying is that it will come to you in a perfect way that they will accept it. You understand. Okay, this is why this is such a fantastic story, because you might really want something and maybe you have a significant other that is like me, the protagonist, and saying, no, no, no. Okay. It could be a similar situation like that. And I'm going to tell you my story, and we're going to connect another Never Goddard story to it because this is a fantastic story. And I've said that many, many times, but this will kind of really open your eyes. So let me tell you the story here. We came up in Surin in February. Right now it's November. It's almost mid-November. We've been up here for maybe 8 months or something like that. So when we came up here, I'm gonna give you my side because I need to tell you how I was a protagonist. Like this wasn't happening, okay? So when we came up here, the Aang's house, her dad lives up here and Guy lives up here. Guy's, I believe, 19, and then he goes to college. So you got like two guys living up here. They have, I know you've seen it in some of my videos. Hey, Lucky. Hey, Lucky. Hey, Lucky. They hear me talking and they come in here and say, who are you talking to? They're in there like chewing their bones, minding their own business. And then they hear me talking and they come in here like, what's going on? But anyway, this is a one take wonder, baby. But anyway, they have kind of, I would say, like a half done cement wall going around their property that Aang's brother did. But they pretty much ran out of money, you know what I mean, to kind of finish it the right way. So when I came up, you know, I see the cement wall, and he pretty much had the cement wall finished, like in the front, but it was cracking. So I was just like, dude, why is it cracking? It's only like a year old. And that's what you're finding in Thailand lots of times. Like a lot of things are built in a way that it will last. And I mean, of course, nobody knows. So then I don't know because I don't build cement walls and stuff like that. So I was just kind of like, in the beginning, Aang was kind of talking about, well, let's finish the wall. And I was like, nah, you know, nobody does anything the right way. I'm not going to put money into it. And everything cracks and looks old in 1 year. Like, homie, don't play that type of thing. You know what I mean? So I was kind of put off by it, you know, right away. Then when I came up, you know, I basically saw like Aang and Guy. You know, this place was almost like a dump. You know what I mean? Like Aang really had to clean it. The outside, they just threw trash all over. You know, if this was a soda can, they would just drink it, throw it on the ground, you know, all around their property. And that's too what you're finding in Thailand too. A lot of locals litter, throw trash all over the place. Um, and I was like, dude, I mean, it just bothered me right away because it was just like, you know, you don't want to be poor, you don't want to be successful, but you're you're not acting successful. You're still doing habits that are poor habits. And this is kind of really a really great example. I'm not going to get off on a tangent, but this is a really great example of contradiction. You can't want to be wealthy and at the same time, you're behaving like a poor person. You're walking around throwing trash, not picking up after yourself. They sat a bone on my lap. This is a comedy show at the same time of this fantastic story. Okay. So then I even bought trash cans for the property outside. Now they actually use the trash cans. It took them a while, but in the beginning, I bought trash cans and they were still just throwing trash on the ground. But anyway, that was kind of my mindset, was like, and maybe I probably came off mean about it a little bit because it was really a strong standard and boundary for me. It's like, dude, I'm not going to fix anything up here because nobody takes care of anything. So why am I going to put money into it when it's not their money? You know what I mean? So they don't care. So, nobody takes care of nothing. So I kind of made it kind of a firm thing. Like, I don't mind helping out a little bit up here. Now, I pay for everything, of course, the electric, water, all that stuff. They don't have to worry about anything, all the food. But as far as like, fixing things and enhancing things, I was kind of really not into that. I was really the protagonist in it. But I just want to give you that background. Like I really wasn't moving on it. Okay. Aang and I had several conversations about this. I wasn't moving on it. Okay. Then a couple months later, okay, Aang she kind of got unfocused. She wasn't really talking about the wall anymore. So then all of a sudden, she started talking about the front gate. And she said, well, if we don't do the wall, can we at least put a gate in, because it makes my dad feel safe and comfortable and stuff like that. And at first I was kind of thinking that it was kind of like an excuse to build the gate, you know what I mean? Try and come up for like a good reason to build a gate. And I was like, nah, like you really need to finish the wall first. Then you finish the whole wall. That way you can match the gate to the wall. You don't do the gate first. Then you have to try to reverse engineer everything. And she kind of understood that. But from time to time, she would talk about putting up a gate. Then she would go like super cheap, or maybe it'll only be 5,000 baht. Maybe my sister and you can split. And I was like, I just wasn't into it. I was like, no, like when you guys do things, you guys need to do things the right way. You can't go super cheap, because it's not going to fall apart in a year. But 100%, if you go cheap and you buy cheap iron and cheap metal, within 6 months here in Thailand, with the humidity and the rain and the sun, it will rust 100%. So what looked brand new in 6 months will look old. So I wasn't into it. I was like, no, you guys need to finish the wall first. So I'm not gonna put a gate in. But what's kind of unique about it, even though I got the boogers behind me, you can probably tell they love me. I'm not that much of a bad guy. But what was unique about this is that from time to time, it would be like sometime in the morning time, I would walk outside, and Aang would sit outside up over here, kind of on the patio, and I could tell that she's kind of looking this way down the whole kind of, it's not a whole driveway, but the patio's kind of long, then it goes into the driveway. And I was like, no, what are you doing? What are you looking at? And she was just like, oh no, I was just looking because I want to put a gate there. And from time to time, I would see her doing that. And shh, Lucky, shh. You know what I mean? It's almost like what Bob Proctor would call an unconscious competent. They're making me forget what I was going to say. Like Bob Proctor would call it unconscious competent, meaning like you're successful, but you don't know why you're successful. You can flip it this way too, is that you're manifesting, but you don't know you're manifesting. You know what I mean? That's kind of an Aang. She's sitting out there And she's visualizing, just sitting there staring, just doing it natural, just visualizing having a gate there. And she wasn't saying anything to me. I would catch her from time to time doing this. And from time to time, over, many months, she will come back and say, and bring up the whole gate thing. Hey, dudes. Okay, calm down here. Calm down here. Right here. Look, here's your bone. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Sorry about that. They have 2 dogs. They got 2 bones, but they're fighting over 1 bone. No. So, now you probably won't be able to hear it on the mics because I'll take out the sound, but all behind me, there's this like growling and fighting each other. You can kind of see them right there. See what they're doing right there? Let me get their bone again. See, here's a bone right there. There you go. Take that one there. They know I'm telling a wonderful story. And anymore when I do videos, dude, I leave the bloopers in because I'm so busy right now. That's how it is. But anyway, from time to time, she would bring up the whole gate thing, and I was like, nah. Like I was still just kind of strict, like no. And I didn't tell you this. Like I forgot this piece. This piece is a funny piece. Is that when it first came up, I almost bent. I got to a point and said, you know what? I'll fix the whole wall for you guys. Okay. And everybody was excited. On the day I was going to order like the cement and the sand, order everything, her dad, there was a bunch of ants like crawling on the cement wall. And what he did was he threw trash all up against the wall, like trash you burn, but they burn trash here. He threw trash up against the cement wall that's already built and caught it on fire. I'm not joking. Like, caught the wall on fire. And I'm just like, and I caught it, and I was just like, what is your dad doing? Like, he knows we're going to finish the wall. Why is he burning the wall that we're going to finish? Like, it's like an oxymoron. And I was pissed. Aang was mad. I called it off. I was like, stop the order. I'm not ordering anything. I'm not going to fix anything if your dad is going to do this kind of stuff. Okay? Because we're going to make the wall beautiful and he's going to just catch the wall on fire. Like I was pissed. That was really what made me in the beginning was, no, I'm not going to fix nothing. You know what I mean? That was a story that I kind of missed that I wanted to put in there. It ended up being a blessing in disguise, but yeah, that was a rough day for everybody because I was just like, it was a standard boundary for me, non-negotiable. Like you don't do that. You don't catch the flipping wall on fire. You just no. But anyway, kind of moving forward, from time to time, I would catch Aang, sitting out there, just looking in the direction of the driveway, and she's envisioning. She's in her imagination. She could see a gate there. A gate that goes across your whole driveway. Okay, not a little doggy gate. You know what I mean? Not a fence gate, but a gate that goes across your whole driveway for your car. So long story short, I didn't think anything of it. From time to time, she would bring it up, and I would say no. Okay, that would be end of story. But what was unique is, this is the twist. This is what Never Goddard said, is that Aang's the one that wants it. Aang's the one that's kind of visioning it. Imagination creates reality. She's doing it without her realizing she's doing it. I'm the protagonist over here. I'm the one saying no. Plus, I'm the one that has the money to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm the one in control, pretty much. Okay. I know that kind of sounds bad, but it's just true. Okay. But long story short, 3 months ago, we got we got these two little boogers. Okay. And it wasn't planned. Okay. When we got Lucky and Money, he's sitting down here being ornery. It's early in the morning. It wasn't planned. We totally spur of the moment. We went shopping, and the place we shop and buy all the meat and everything, they had pretty much a litter of puppies just dumped up by the road. And I went over, there was one way over by the store, so I picked it up and I took it back to the litter. That way it wouldn't get hurt or hit by a motorbike or hit by a car. So we went in, did our shopping, we came back, we went back over, was looking at the dogs, looking at the puppies. They're probably only like, at best case, maybe 4.5 weeks. Lucky, no. Old, Lucky, no. Oh, he's gone outside. So let me go get Lucky. Okay, I'm back. I just had to go get him. He can't be outside without me. Now I'll explain why here in a second. I'll explain why. But where was I? I have to get my train of thought here. So anyway, we're at the store. We shop. We go outside. We're looking at the puppies. They're way up by the road. There's a Thai tea place across the parking lot, and she was watching us like look at them, and she was like, "Oh, a couple of them already died, got hit by a car, but they're too close to the road." So Aeang and I were looking, and we're like, maybe we should take one. And so we picked him first. Okay. He looked like the dad. He stood out because all his brothers and sisters looked like labs, totally like labs. But he kind of stood out. So we took him, and I had my Thai tea in one hand. I had him in the other hand. I'm sitting on the back of the motorbike. Aeang was driving. We go home. We drop him off. Of course, he's out of his, hey, don't be doing that stuff. I'm on camera. So we bring him back home. He's a little bit sad, out of his, away from his brothers and sisters, away from the pack. And, hey, dudes, you got 2 bones over here. Look at that. See what I say? They have 2 bones and they're fighting over one. But anyway, we get home and we start thinking, oh, you look sad, whatever. Plus, we're both busy. And we thought, well, maybe we should go back and get another puppy. At least get a brother or a sister in his pack. That way they can grow up together. They got a strong bond together. You know what I mean? Already. Sitting on that. And so we go back and we get Money. Okay. And Money, I didn't see the first time. Because Money actually doesn't look like her brothers and sisters. Money looks like an in-between between the mom and the dad. Okay, the only one there that had an in-between look. Then Lucky looked like the dad. So we pick up her and bring him home. Okay, now long story short is we get the puppies, spur of the moment, don't think anything of it. And I'm like, okay, they're so young, I can train them. You start working them with them when they're really young. By the time they get bigger, where it's a little bit harder to control, they're already trained. They already know all the rules. They're already potty trained. They know commands. They know everything because I grew up with dogs. So then I'm training them to go outside, training with stay only on the property, and they're doing really good. They only play out here. Aeang had a little sand pile, like a lot of sand because of them building the wall, and they were like kids. They loved playing in the sand. You know what I mean? But sooner or later, Lon, you've seen him in my videos. He's like a bigger black dog, like sometimes you'll see. Sometimes in my coffee talk, because I'm sitting in the kitchen, and he would come over, but I'm guessing he's probably only a year old. So he still has that puppy in him, that puppy energy. So he would actually come over and play with the little boogers. Okay, he liked them. Okay, so in lots of times, I'm not even joking, he would come over like 2-3 times a day and play with them. But eventually what happened they started to pay attention to where lawn was coming from. Lawn was coming across the street to the next door neighbor. So what they started doing is they were going down to the end of the driveway. They weren't going in the road yet, but they would sit at the end of the driveway and wait for lawn to come over. But then eventually what would happen, they would see him over across the street. They would see him laying down sleeping. And of course, they would run across the street. They would listen to me. They would come back. They wouldn't like run from me or anything. But you know where this story's going. Okay. All of a sudden, I think I'm the one that brought it up. I can't remember if it was Aeang or me. I think I brought it up, honestly. And I said, you know what? I think we need to put a gate in. Because the dogs are going to the road, and it's really just a matter of time. You know what I mean? Now, it's not a crazy busy road, but as far as being in Thailand, Thai most of the time drive way too fast for the area they're in. And so, I don't want to say it, but to me, it's just a matter of time before something happens. You know what I mean? And because we can't be outside, it's either chain them up and they go outside, which that's a little bit difficult with two. But anyway, I'm the one that says, well, maybe we should put in a gate. So it's rained a couple of days, so they're 2 days behind. Probably the last week or so, they've been installing the gate. So we've installed the gate. It's not done yet. It's about halfway now. So they're installing the gate. Plus we had them finish the front wall that basically fix all the cracking. So they did all the putty and the seal, and then we're painting it. They got the first coat of paint on yesterday. I replaced it. No, I didn't replace it, but I bought a really, really good gate for them. You know what I mean? It wasn't a cheap gate, because I look at it as, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but if you don't do something for somebody, do it the right way. You know what I mean? I'll make a separate video on that, because it's once I started building the gate, it was a very, very kind of special moment for him. I could tell the dad was just crazy excited. Like the whole time they've been building, the last week, the dad was just sitting out there watching them work. You could just see like he's super excited for the gate. And they brought the gate over yesterday. It's not done. It's about 3/4 done, but they had to bring it and kind of install it, then finish it while it's up. And once the dad saw how nice the gate was, because Aang told me like he kind of was, he just thought we were just going to install like a cheap gate. And once he saw like how nice it was, he's just sitting there like, because like a lot of Thai, sometimes they don't have something really nice. But anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent of that, but it was really a special moment. But what I want to share with you, kind of to wrap up this video, with the orange little boogers behind me. Hey, you got this bone right there. You got this bone right here. Isn't it funny? Listen, isn't it funny? And Neville Goddard said this in his material, is that, what you, like with me, like with Aang, no matter if she knew what she was doing or not, she was visualizing. She was visualizing, going inside her imagination, and she could see a gate there. You know what I mean? Because I would catch her. She would just be sitting there looking, and I'd be like, what are you looking at? She's like, oh, I'm just thinking about a gate being there. So she's just naturally doing it. You know what I mean? But then I'm that protagonist. I'm like, no, 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 no. And Neville Goddard gave it a wonderful example. I forget where it comes from. I don't know if it's I think it's out of Power of Awareness. I could be wrong. I did a video on it. I'll try to put it down below in the description. And Neville Goddard brings this up because he said, where the imagination creates reality, it will come to you. Like if you have a protagonist, like somebody that don't want you to have it, it will come to you in such a perfect way. That person will change their mind. That's why I wanted to tell you that story, because it's such a unique story. It's not just like, oh, I want my dream house and it came to me. You know what I mean? Like most of us want something, but there's a protagonist in a way. You know what I mean? There's something in the way, and you can't focus on the protagonist. Just focus on what you want, because it will rearrange where the protagonist will have to give in to it. It will come in such a perfect way. It doesn't. The protagonist has no energy around it. Okay, just like in our situation. And Neville Goddard gave an example of this, and I'll tell it really fast. I put the video down below. And Neville Goddard said, like, he had a client come over and visit him. It was a grandparent, and she brought her grandson with her. And her grandson was 9 years old. And the grandson brought his toys, had a toy truck. The whole time, Neville Goddard and the grandmother was talking. They were talking about imagination creates reality, but she was a client of Neville Goddard. Let me move. Oh, I fell on the ground. Let me come over here. They're probably going to follow me. Okay. And the whole time the grandma was discussing with Neville Goddard, once their session was done, the boy, the 9-year-old, he was 9 years old, turned to Neville Goddard and said, "No, I know what I want, and now I know exactly how to get it." And Neville Goddard says, "Well, what do you want?" And he's like, "I've always wanted a collie puppy, a puppy dog, a collie." And the boy says, "I finally know how to get it. Like, I'm going to go home, and when I go to bed, I'm going to pretend my collie puppy is sleeping next to me. I'm going to take it for imaginary walks, and I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to play with it." And at the time, the grandma, Neville Goddard said the grandma was kind of almost having a fit a little bit. The grandma was like, "No. You know your parents hate dogs. You know your dad hate dogs." And even the grandmother told Neville Goddard, like, we've been through this many times. Like, he's not going to get a puppy. His parents don't want a puppy. His dad definitely don't like dogs. So that's why he don't have a puppy. But anyway, Neville Goddard said 6 weeks later, the boy got a puppy. But he got a puppy in such a unique way that the parents had to give into it. You understand? And these little boys, talking about puppies and dogs, they're like fighting, sitting right next to me. Let me stand up so I can finish this. See what they're playing over there. Okay, but anyway, what was I saying? Is that what happened was for the 9-year-old, the town they lived in, the city they lived in, the newspaper was putting on this great big competition for the schools and for the elementary schools. And so they got all the schools involved. So it ended up being a school project where all the kids had to write a letter and write a story around a puppy. And all the schools submitted them in to the paper, submitted them into an organization. And lo and behold, the 9-year-old won the competition. He came in first place. In first place, he got a puppy, but not any puppy. He got the puppy he wanted. He got a collie puppy. But the parents said, was talking to Neville Goddard, or the grandma talked to Neville Goddard again, and she said, "You know what?" The parents even said, since he won the competition, if he would have won money to buy a puppy, they still wouldn't have got a puppy for him. They would have taken the money, stuck in the bank for him, or got a savings bond, because savings bonds were popular back then. They wouldn't have got a puppy if he won money. He said if he would have just won a puppy, like from school or from a festival, they would have given away the puppy. But even the parents said the way he won the puppy, the way he got the puppy, they couldn't take it away from him. Because he wrote this story, he won the competition. It was a big deal in the newspaper. So his picture was in the paper, he won, his article, the letter he wrote, the story he wrote was in the newspaper. They made a great big deal out of it. And the parents said, just because of that, just because how he got the puppy, we let him keep the puppy. And Neville Goddard said, like what you want, like if you have a protagonist there, it will come to you so perfectly that it will still come to you and it won't be taken away. You understand? It's almost, I mean, this was a strong story by Neville Galder, but it's almost very similar to Aeang and I, okay, with my story, because I was a protagonist in the story. I was kind of that roadblock in the story, saying no. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. You get what I'm saying. But I want to just share this with you. It was kind of way more hectic in here than I thought. When I started a video, they were actually just in the kitchen, laying down, minding their own business, chewing on their bone. And once I started this video, once they heard me talk, all they did is run around and play and fight and fight over one bone. But anyway, tribe, hopefully that kind of helped you out a little bit. And it really helped you stay in the game so you don't get negative. Even if there's a protagonist, even if your parents don't want it, even if your significant other don't want it, or if you even feel like there's no way I can have it because there's too many obstacles, okay, you're thinking the wrong way. Just focus on what you want. Because the obstacles don't matter. Because when it comes to you, it's going to come to you in a way that it's avoiding the obstacles. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's the great news. So they're wrestling. But anyway, tribe, I gotta go because I got some WrestleMania going on between the pups. And comment below if you have questions with this or you have stories yourself. I love to hear them. That's actually a good idea. Comment below your story. Okay, if you have a unique story, something that's come to you, you manifested, and it came to you in such a unique way because it helps everybody. You understand? Like it helps people stay in the game. And that's what I want to say, because too many people throw in a towel. Too many people throw in a towel. They think it's not going to work, or when the going gets tough, they give in to the tough. Okay, don't give in to the tough. Understand? But other than that, just want to share that with you. Peace out. And I like to apologize, but for everything going on. And but that's the way it is. You get me on that, and I'm kind of getting more in the videos like that. I can't. Before it would frustrate me because, either I wouldn't do a video, then I'm kind of just getting to a point where, whatever is going on around me, I was in the mood to talk, I was in the mood to share, and, this is my life right now for the moment. So you're seeing the hectic life of Chad. But anyway, peace out. Remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.